Once you find yourself in conflict with a narcissist, it's a virtual guarantee they're going to start playing head games with you. That's why I put together a new course. It's very extensive called Anger Games. I'm going to teach you how to manage anger and conflict with a narcissist. There's a link below that's going to show you how to register, and I hope that you find it to be very insightful. I want to ask you a very basic question about your beliefs in yourself, and it kind of goes to your beliefs about human nature in general, and that is, do you consider yourself to be a worthy person? What does it mean to live as a person who has basic worth that's already established on the inside? Now, that's a very seminal question that each person needs to come to terms with. When self-worth is strongly held on to, then it can have a very positive impact in the way you live. If you have struggles with your life, it implies that you're really struggling with that core concept of self-worth. It's a core issue that impacts so many different ways in which we live. Now, obviously, this has a strong implication for your understanding of that narcissistic person that you encounter with on a very regular basis. Keep in mind that as you engage with them, it just becomes more and more apparent this person is living with a certain amount of emotional and psychological disarray. They have such an ease in being agitated and irritable, and they have to be competitive over you, and they're very judgmental, and they're very defensive, etc. Their emotions are not steady at all, and it implies that deep down on the inside, they're hurting. They're struggling to know that they are somebody, that their life really matters, that they matter. When we talk about having an internal sense of self-worth, we're talking about viewing yourself as honorable, as respectable, as valued, reliable, capable, grounded in love and goodness and decency. Worthy individuals have this calm reassurance that says, no matter what's going on in the world around me, I can breathe easily, know that there's a core decency on the inside that I can draw upon. It's mine, that I can pull out and use anytime that I need. It's there. It's just part of who I am. Narcissists, because of all of the many ingredients that they operate with, carry a great deal of tension regarding the concept of self-worth. Now, they want to let you know that they're the gold standard. They want you to take them seriously. They want you to prop up their ego. They want you to feed their needs. But if they already have that kind of thinking, their worth settled on the inside, that kind of mannerism wouldn't be nearly as central to who they are. Now, when you have a lack of self-worth, when you're struggling with it, there are going to be various elements or various indicators that are going to be a part of your life that illustrate that indeed is the case. And I want to walk you through multiple indicators that say when a person is struggling with self-worth. And I want you to see in each one of these little illustrations that this is right at the heart and soul of what narcissism is all about. For example, the first indicator that we can look for is narcissists are very willing to manipulate other individuals. When you have a lack of self-worth, you act as if your worth is something that other people have to give you, and they make it a command performance. It's like, I've got to do anything and everything I can to make you see that I'm an okay person, and they're willing to make up all sorts of narratives and lies or to force you into saying how wonderful they are. They're manipulative in the way that they have to be on top of you and people and circumstances. When you have a lack of self-worth, it leads to games of pretense. That's another indicator. In other words, it's like the narcissist will say, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prove to you what's good about me. I'm going to show you all of the positive characteristics, and we're just going to try to ignore anything that's unappealing. We don't talk about that. They live behind walls of pretense. In addition, in their lack of worth, they have a sense of hypervigilance. They're constantly interpreting others' responses to them based on internal emotional neediness. Are you rejecting my ideas, or I hate it when you disagree with me, or you're not giving me what I feel like I want or I deserve? What's going on with that? And anything you say and do is either a confirmation or a rejection of their worth, their value as a person. And there's a sense of paranoia that's like, well, I wonder what you think of me now. And they're not settled from the inside out. That being the case, there's another indicator that they're struggling with their own inner worth, and that is they have a strong need to control you. Okay, if I can make you do everything that I say the agenda says you're supposed to be, and if I can make you act according to my agenda, then you're going to make me feel better, I win. When in fact their control is their way of saying, I'm afraid that you might not acknowledge me as worthy of anything if I just leave you on your own resources to figure out what to do with me. It is actually a vote of no towards themselves. Of course, they won't see it that way. In addition, their lack of worth leads to pervasive dishonesty. They're constantly covering up their flaws. They're trying to figure out how they can keep you from knowing things that might damage their reputation. They're heavily involved in propping up a false self. And so they don't want you to know who they really are, and so they're willing to lie, keep secrets, and be evasive, etc. It's all part of that dishonesty scheme, but it stems from their questioning of their true value. That's why they keep secrets. In addition, their lack of worth leads them to heavy use of rationalization. If they make a mistake, rather than saying, "Hey, I made a mistake, let's talk about it," it's like, well, let me explain to you why everything's not what you think it is, and I'm better than this, and it's like they work overtime in trying to defend themselves, and it's like, slow down, it's okay, you don't have to be perfect. It's like, well, I have to get you to interpret me correctly, and so they justify constantly why they're actually better than what they actually are on the inside. In addition, their lack of worth causes them to deflect when they think they might get in trouble. If you catch them saying something or doing something that might be inappropriate or unappealing, it's like, well, the reason it happened is because of this, or this person did it for me. So they go into blame shifting. They offer weak excuses. They'll ignore other individuals' perceptions or opinions. It's like, no, I can't receive anything that's going to make me look and feel bad. In addition, their lack of worth is directly tied to the amount of anger that they have. In their anger, it's their way of saying, you've got to show me that you think I'm somebody. And they're wanting to stand up for their worth, but they do it with such an agitated and irritable and unrefined kind of way that they get the very opposite. I mean, do you feel like offering someone worth when they've just pummeled you with anger and contempt? I don't think so, but they don't see that. Likewise, they're very willing to devalue other individuals. That's another indicator of their lack of worth. You see, in their world, there's a zero-sum game. If you're low, that means that leaves all the room for me to be high. And they build themselves up by finding what's wrong with other individuals. Somehow that math works for them, doesn't work for me. But their devaluation is part of them trying to steal worth from you and attach it to themselves. And then they're constantly seeking someone to make them feel special. What are you going to do to make me look good? And they crave flunkies. They crave people that are just going to be yes people. Just anything at all to say you're a worthy person. It's like, oh, good. I had to have that. So you can see that narcissists are deeply conflicted. And see, my question is, what would be different in their lives if they actually understood worth is not something that's a commodity that's that you buy or exchange or buy or perform for? Worth is simply something that's inherent to being human. You have worth by virtue of your humanity. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to make somebody give it to you. Worth simply is. That's a concept they don't understand. So if you were to live with your self-worth intact, there would also be some indicators there. And I want to run through this before we wrap up here today. See, worthy individuals are willing to go into reflective thinking, and they would ask things like, "Who am I in this moment? If there's something that's troubling me, how can I draw upon my inner sense of well-being so that I can respond well?" Their reflective thinking would guide them as opposed to just raw reaction. They would also, worthy individuals minimize the need for superficial shows of significance, like materialism or external appearances or being with the in crowd. I mean, you want to look nice and be with nice people, but narcissists overemphasize that. When you have your worth intact, you just don't go overboard in those categories. In addition, worthy individuals enjoy simplicity. I like to listen to music or be with my friends or enjoy nature or have a nice meal with somebody. And it doesn't have to be lavish and it doesn't have to be loud and boisterous. It just means there's a contentment that I can lean into. In your worthiness, you're willing to be kind and show acts of service. It's like, I know I like it when people treat me well. I'm guessing I can make other individuals feel well, and it's a win-win for everybody. You see the value in other individuals. In your emotional worth, you have emotional steadiness. Another's lack of affirmation or their lack of emotional steadiness doesn't have to pull you off guard. You've got an inner strength that you can draw upon. And as a worthy individual, you would be someone who would be able to draw upon patience and self-restraint. Now you can see that narcissists struggle with their control and their agitation and manipulations because they carry this tension regarding the whole notion of worth. They're not settled on that topic, and as a result, they push all of their problems onto you. They either displace or project it onto you. I'm hoping you're able to see it so that you can stay out of their clutches when they clearly show their dysfunction. Here on Team Healthy, we stand for dignity, respect, and civility. In other words, characteristics that imply you're worthy. And when you have that worth that's embedded on the inside of you, you want to give it away. And in the psychological math of this, the more you give it away, the more you have. The narcissists don't understand that at all. You don't have to take it. You find it by getting rid of it. It's kind of strange how that works. So I hope that videos such as this can give you some good ideas as to what you're dealing with. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do so. We're going to keep more videos coming your way. I'm wanting you to understand who you are and how you can understand that person in front of you that may be a little bit more difficult. Now, I know that when you have issues like this that you're trying to come to terms with, it could be helpful for you to get therapeutic assistance from a licensed professional therapist. We've been sponsored for years by the people at BetterHelp.com. There's a link below the video that will take you to their website. It can be so helpful for someone to sit down and start by saying, "I'd like to know you, and I'd like to know who you are, your needs, your feelings, and how we can make you help you find the best version of yourself." So if the need is there, online therapy has become very popular and accessible. Go through the link and get the help you need. Likewise, I have my courses. As a therapist, I'm no longer in my practice, but I have a whole lot of experience to draw from, and I've put them together in courses. Each course has at least 25 videos with written documentations and handouts, like a whole lot of that. Each course has at least 25 videos and lessons. We have my brand new ones called Anger Games. And it's all about how not to get sucked into the anger that the narcissist throws at you. In addition, we have This Is Me, about boundaries, free to be, finding yourself despite the controller's Ready, Set, Connect. We have the courses are very extensive and there would be a lot of work, but I think they would be a very therapeutic value for you. In addition, we have on my website access to my webinars, which are 90-minute presentations, lots of articles, access to my podcast, and also my books. So lots of resources, and we're here to help. And that's what I've dedicated my whole career to. You're a worthy person. Narcissists can have worth too. It's theirs to claim, and then if they learn to lean into it, then it would be a lot nicer way to live, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, that's something they're very unsettled with, and as a result, they have all the indicators that I've mentioned here. I'm hoping you can have that sense of worth that is a settled issue on the inside so that you can be that person of steadiness. And ultimately, it can help you as you seek your way of life that's anchored in peace.